not Dastardly Dav anymore. I'm Doomer Dave.
Doomer Dave. Dastardly Dav's alter ego, Doomer Dave. Hello everyone and welcome back to DCM, Doritos, Connections, and Mountain Dew, your favorite local video game talk show. I am your host, Howard Miller.
And I'm your co-host, David Scrivani.
And let's start off with the news!
Whoa.
And for our first story today, the recently announced Nickelodeon All Star Brawl was announced to everyone's surprise and delight.
Including ours.
Including ours. Check out our videos. The fighting game which covers 30 years of programming from Nickelodeon, but we have some sad news that apparently there's no voice acting in it. Voice of Zim from Invader Zim and Daggett from Angry Beavers said, answered the question, did you voice the Zim character for the game? And he responded, nope, none of us did the voices for the game during a live stream. And this has led to some disappointment as the studio's last game, Nickelodeon's Kart Racers 2, had basically none of the classic voice actors come back to reprise their role. The studio has yet to publicly address the issue of the voice acting.
So, do you think they're just gonna get like sound-alikes, or?
I think they're just gonna use stock audio.
Oh, that's no fun.
I don't know. I haven't played Nickelodeon Kart Racer 2, so I'm out of the loop.
Do you think we could get someone to mod in that that voice line that Bill Fagerbakke has in Jennifer's Body into the game?
I mean, it's coming to PC. It's probably gonna happen.
Probably. I'll let you guys figure out what I'm talking about, because I can't say it. Not on TV. Evil Dead the game has been delayed. Announced back in December of last year, the 4v1 horror game had initially been set for release this year in 2021, with no concrete date given at the time of its announcement. However, the game's official Twitter account has confirmed that it will be releasing in February of 2022. The reasoning for this appears to be to give them time to implement a single-player option, something similar games like Dead by Daylight and Friday the 13th the game do not feature. Whether this will be a true campaign experience or simply an offline version of the 4v1 mode remains unclear.
Capcom had a huge presentation discussing the future of the Street Fighter franchise, and it started off with, of course, as everyone loves, more news about Fortnite, with Cammy and the world's ugliest guile ever being unlockables in the newest season of Fortnite. But that's not all. They discussed the last 3 characters that are going to appear in Street Fighter V, which includes Akira, which is a crossover from the franchise that they own, Rival Schools, and Oro from Street Fighter III Third Strike. And of course, the final character being just a character called Luke, who they stated is going to be important for the future of the Street Fighter franchise and potentially going to be the main star of Street Fighter VI. And that's it. We know nothing more. We don't know who this guy is. They just said, oh, here's Luke, and they called it a day. But however, Akira and Oro should be available by the time the video comes out. Meanwhile, Luke will be released later this year in November for Street Fighter V.
And while rumors of a remake of BioWare's seminal RPG have been circulating for years, the Unreal Cinema channel on YouTube have taken it upon themselves to remake Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic as an episodic video series made entirely in the Unreal Engine 5, with entirely new voice acting as well. The first episode of the series is set to premiere at the end of summer, which is soon. But the channel has also been posting monthly videos showcasing updates featuring the Sith Acolyte and Revan's journey through the Rakatan ruins on Dantooine, and a bunch of other things. It looks gorgeous because it's the Unreal Engine. The Unreal Engine typically looks pretty damn good. But yeah, I'm excited. I've never actually played Knights of the Old Republic, but people like it. Yeah, I'm sure this will be pretty cool because it's looking pretty cool as is.
Also, you can still play the game on an Xbox, by the way.
Like an original Xbox?
Xbox Series X.
Oh.
It's backwards compatible, baby, with optimized 4K support.
Hey! And it's also like consistently on sale for like $5 on Steam.
Yeah, and Xbox as well.
Hey!
So if you can't wait, you can get it now.
Yeah.
The old game. In the recent quarterly report, Nintendo has reported that they have now sold 89 million units for the Nintendo Switch. This now makes it the 7th best-selling console of all time, beating the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3. And along with this news, we have also gained information on what the best-selling Nintendo games are, which is Animal Crossing New Horizon is now the Switch's 2nd best-selling game. It still needs to beat the number 1, which is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, but it beat the original second place holder, which was Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. And from what it's looking like, Animal Crossing just at this point might beat Mario Kart's slot as the best-selling Switch game of all time.
I'd prefer that, considering Mario Kart's just a port.
Yeah, a port where they said they were going to keep adding DLC for it, and then they never did.
And also, didn't most copies of the Switch just come with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe too?
Yes.
So does it really count?
Actually, yeah, it does.
Oh, okay.
If you look at like the best-selling games, they tell you which games were included with a bundle or not, and almost all of them are included in a bundle for the console.
All right. Well,
Why do you think Wii Sports was the number 1 selling game of all time for a while? Before Minecraft.
all right, fair enough.
And now for our next segment, hey guys, what you been playing?
Well, folks, today is the David Talks About Star Wars episode because I've been playing Star Wars Battlefront 2, the newer version. Released in 2017 by Battlefield developers DICE, the sequel to the reboot of the classic third-person shooter, was lambasted on launch for its over-reliance on microtransactions and grind-heavy progression system. It didn't take long for Electronic Arts to remove microtransactions from the game entirely, as well as rework the progression to the point where now, the game's actually pretty good. I've never really been one for multiplayer games because I tend not to be very good at them. And while that is still the case for Battlefront 2, the fun I'm able to have still playing game modes like Supremacy and Heroes vs. Villains reminds me of the good old days playing the original Star Wars Battlefront 2 on the PlayStation 2. Star Wars Battlefront 2 is available on Xbox One.
No, you can just say Xbox because anything on the one plays
Yeah,
on the
that's
Series
true.
X.
Star Wars Battlefront 2 is available on Xbox, PlayStation 4, and PC. Go play it.
So what have I been playing? I've been playing the 2019 title, River City Girls. A beat-em-up developed by WayForward and published by Arc System Works, a spin-off from the Kunio-kun franchise, which includes series such as River City and Double Dragon. The game stars two very, and I'm being serious, it's not original characters, two very obscure characters, Kyoko and Misako, as they ravage the town of River City to save their boyfriends, which are the main characters from River City. If you're a fan of Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, the video game, you'll know that for that game, River City franchise was a big inspiration because half the moves in the gameplay was stolen from River City directly. So if you played that game, this game works like a breeze. You'll understand everything completely, which includes things such as beating up dudes galore and shopping for food and accessories to boost your stats. The game also features a ton of YouTube personalities as voice actors, such as the Game Grumps as the brothers from Double Dragon, Cryotic, Rubber Ross, and my favorite up-and-coming voice actor, ProZD, also known as Sungwon Cho. The game is a blast, with the comedy being on point and laugh-out-loud hilarious, and it has two-player co-op, and it'll statistically be twice the fun. River City Girls is now available on Xbox, PlayStation 4, and PC, with a PlayStation 5 version coming out in the future.
Yeah, isn't that coming from Limited Run? Aren't they doing anything for that?
Yeah, I think they're dropping. Yeah, the PS5 version's coming out next month with limited game. Which I'm like, I'm looking at all the big $80 collector bundle. I'm just kind of like. So for our discussion today, we had big news, very large news, in fact, for us personally. And during an EA, I think, Play presentation, EA was showing up all their games coming out soon, and they finished it off with a teaser trailer for a reboot of the game Dead Space. What is said to be a remake of sorts, featuring no load times and fixing past mistakes, such as plot holes. Now, I don't know about you, Dave, because I am a little conflicted on this. A little conflicted. Because if you know the history of Dead Space, you'll know that EA basically ruined the whole entire franchise with Dead Space 3, which caused it to underperform, and then dissolved the studio who made it by Visceral. Is it Visceral Studios?
Visceral, yeah.
Okay, I don't know why I almost said Vicarious Actions. That's Crash Bandicoot. But yeah, they dissolved Visceral Studios, and then I guess the moment they said we're going to make our own game like Dead Space, EA has now decided to reboot Dead Space, now that the studio's free to do whatever it wants. And on one hand, I think it's really like a bittersweet backhand to the developers.
I mean, the fact that they're just kind of, digging up the desiccated corpse of Dead Space just to make money isn't the greatest thing, but hey, that's what we get for living in a capitalist society.
Yeah. And what concerns me is that they're fixing mistakes in the first Dead Space.
What does that entail exactly?
They are very vague. They were focusing on plot holes, but if I'm going to be totally honest, having replayed a little bit of Dead Space in the past year or two, other than the really bad shooting the asteroid section, there's nothing actually wrong with Dead Space.
And how could plot holes come about if we're still in the first game?
Yeah,
Wouldn't plot holes technically be in the sequels?
Yeah,
but this is a remake of the first Dead Space, so I don't understand that.
And also Dead Space 3 was the one that really had plot holes. 2 was pretty kind of airtight. Maybe there was some minor details, but I'm just racking my head. I just don't understand why. See, the thing that's bothering me is that this is a reboot, when in all honesty, it should have been like what they did with the Mass Effect collection. It's just they should have made Dead Space
prettier,
a pretty collection of sorts.
And I'll say it, visually, the first Dead Space hasn't totally aged well. Still looks good, but it...
I mean, if you want to, we'll look at games from 2008 and we'll look at them, and Dead Space does look better than most of them.
I'll give you that.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I'm sure a from the ground up remake will certainly look gorgeous. I mean, I totally lost my train of thought.
It'll look gorgeous, but does it really need it?
I mean, no. I mean, what game needs a from the ground up remake, really? I
mean, games that are janky and that haven't aged well. But the thing is that Dead Space is really airtight. Yeah. So I don't really. That's why I think the Legendary Collection would be more.
Here's one thing I want them to fix. Give Isaac better posture.
Oh yeah, he's so slouched.
Isaac has probably some of the worst posture I've seen in any video game character ever. He is constantly slouched over like this, and that can't be good for your back, man.
Okay, but in his defense, in his defense, he's wearing power armor and he's just a random dude.
But it's not even power armor. It's just his uniform. It's just the armor for his job. He's an engineer.
Yeah, but most of the armor's on the head. It's on the head.
So maybe the weight is making him slouch?
Yeah, that's what it's it's all on his head and his back vertebrae. It's all there.
But if it's on his back, you'd think that would make him have better posture.
Yeah, if it wrapped around him, but it's literally just on his spine, and if it's flexible, like why would he care? Like unless it has like little spindles, like a corset to make him like better posture. Why would he?
I don't know.
You don't know.
But give him better posture. Yeah, that's all.
There is one thing that I do want to address is that they announced the game director, and it's the game director of Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Why? Why would you get the guy who makes Assassin's Creed games to direct Dead Space?
Open world Dead Space.
No! I don't know. I'm debating on that one. See? Look, he's debating on it too. But like, I don't know. That one, I'm just like, okay. Ooh, little scared, feeling hot and heavy.
Yeah,
you got
I mean,
Assassin's Creed directors.
To be fair, we still just have that one teaser trailer that is really nothing more than a proof of concept. It might be good.
It could be.
But it also might not be. We probably won't see anything for at least another year and a half, is my guess.
They said it could be released as early as mid-2022.
And we've seen almost nothing from it. That's concerning.
Yep. So we'll keep you posted on any more things from Dead Space, but we're very wary at the moment.
We're very cautiously optimistic.
Yeah. All right, now it's serious time, unfortunately, for this segment, which means I gotta bust out the iPad. I apologize. It has to be on screen, but I need to keep everything everything good. So I'm just gonna rattle off for a little bit, and then we'll discuss. But this is a serious issue that needs to be addressed. It's been basically the only video game news that's been on Twitter or on most places where there's video game outlets, and that is Activision and Blizzard, who is known for franchises such as Fallout, World of Warcraft, and Call of Duty, has received a lawsuit from California's Department of Fair Employment and Housing. After a 2-year investigation, the DFEH deemed multiple offenses in which the company, quote, discriminated against female employees in terms and conditions of employment, including compensation, assignment, promotion, termination, constructive discharge, and retaliation. The lawsuit claims that there is a frat boy culture of male workers harassing female employees in inappropriate adult manners. This includes in what is now deemed as the infamous cube crawl, in which certain male employees will come into work intoxicated and start going from cube to cube, harassing and making provocative and unwanted gestures to their female companions. One story claims that a woman committed suicide after she had to go on a business trip with a male coworker who brought adult toys and lube. And then the man went off to show off her inappropriate pictures after her death at a Christmas party. And also, there was also the Bill Cosby room, which employees took pictures cheering Bill Cosby during his court case in 2016. All of these incidents were dealt with a slap on the wrists, and the male employees never got fired for their actions, leaving a bunch of female employees to quit Blizzard in 2019. Blizzard has responded with what is, to be honest, a tone-deaf statement which blames the DFEH for rushing their investigation for an inaccurate complaint, blaming things such as COVID for harming the company's jobs during these trying times, and the accusation of suicide was sickening. Now, first of all, that is a lot. Second of all, that is disgusting. And
the way I see it,
yeah.
And this also connects to some non-video game related news. The whole Scarlett Johansson v. Disney lawsuit that's ongoing. I don't know if it's actually even started yet, but if you have to blame COVID for anything of this sort, you've already lost the argument. That's not an excuse. I'm sorry, but that's not how it works.
Listen, guys. I slapped a woman, but you can't really blame me. COVID's happening right now.
Listen, I know. I came on to her when she told me not to, but COVID happened, so it's okay.
Guys, COVID's happening. Times are tough. Why don't you just let
Just
me...
let me assault women.
Yeah, just let me harass and harangue women. Like, it's so... That is a pathetic response. But I think this does bring up an issue of, I guess, the media industry in general. Where, I guess, cartoons, comic books, it does have this. But in places like movies and video games, and hell, even media creation like YouTube, there's this kind of, I guess, implicit like power that these people feel, in which they know when you finally get a job, you go like, wow, I'm in my dream job. Mm-hmm. I'm at Activision and Blizzard. They're just going to expect you to do nothing because you're just stuck in this dream like mentality. Like, I don't want to ruin my chances of losing my dream job. And if what these documents say are true, which I don't know if this is a 2-year investigation and a lot of people are claiming that it's true. Even the people who used to run the company say it's true. I really think we should come together and like support this in any way we can, because this is utterly disgusting behavior, especially if it led to a suicide of one of the employees.
That, I didn't even know about that.
So you didn't know about that one?
I did not.
That was the first thing I knew.
The thing I knew most about was the Cosby suite. That was the thing I knew the most about.
Yeah, no, actually, the Cosby thing was the last thing I learned about.
Geez.
Yeah, it's absolutely disgusting behavior. A lot of the subreddits for Activision games are putting a ginormous, like, hey, you can boycott this if you want, right? Here are some things, and we're going to put this on screen. If you like certain Activision games and you don't want to play them, we'll have a list of other games that are similar that you can play instead. But you know what? This is another thing that we can add. Apparently in the report, what Activision does when stuff like this happens, okay, is that they do a really big announcement to try to defer you away from looking at it, from looking at their bad issues. And you know what? It was completely accurate, because guess what they did? They announced the Crash Anniversary Bundle, where you can get Crash Trilogy, Crash Team Racing, and Crash 4 for $60 to $40 on your system in one bundle.
I didn't even see that.
Yeah, they literally announced that like the moment it was getting trended on Twitter. So it's really pathetic. And and I did see a lot of employees who used to be employees who are trying really hard to say, I can't believe I ever worked there. And if what the report said, they all most likely knew, and they didn't do anything, which I understand a composer is not going to have much power, but I don't know. It seems a little bit too late.
Well, the thing is that weren't a lot of the people who are getting these allegations, aren't they like the higher ups?
Yeah.
So even if anyone was brave enough to stand up and say something,
they'd get fired.
The likelihood that anything worthwhile would happen is astronomically low.
Yeah.
So I understand to a certain point why no one said anything, because nothing would happen. And the fact that this is coming out, because let's be honest, this has been happening, like you said, this has been happening in a number of industries for God knows how long. Is something going to change now? I don't know. I would hope so, but I don't know about you. Maybe I'm being overly pessimistic here, but my hopes aren't high for anything changing.
You know what? I think if this lawsuit goes through, it will send, if this is like a really damaging lawsuit, it will send a precedent. Because right now, Ubisoft is also going through something similar to this. It will send a message, okay? And who knows what that message will be. But it's either going to cause one of two things. It's one, they're going to double down on hiding this information, or two, there's going to be CEOs that don't abide by this work ethic, or work behavior. Which, I don't know about you, but at most jobs, if you show up to work drunk anyway, you get fired.
Yeah.
People get fired from smoking weed 2 days in advance before coming to their job. I don't know why I don't know who allows a whole horde of men heavily intoxicated and not get them in trouble or fire them. But, hey, I think the doomer in me says if this lawsuit goes badly, nothing's going to happen. But there is something cautiously optimistic that ever since things like Me Too, industries have been getting better. People who are being hired for these media creation, they're getting better. And I think there is a small glimmer of hope if this lawsuit does go through and they win. The victims win. Mm-hmm. But, it's a gamble at this point. It's a gamble. Maybe if we see more lawsuits of this nature, maybe things will change. I know things will change, actually, if more lawsuits like this happen. But, again, to reiterate, if you don't support the actions of this company, don't buy it. In fact, you know what? If you don't like that much, we'll even find and recommend you games that aren't from Activision. Yeah. We don't mind.
We run a game talk show. We know what we're talking about.
I hope. But that's the way it is. If anything major happens in this lawsuit, we will keep you updated. And, yeah, that's about all I have to say. It's very tragic news. Yeah. And that was our show. Make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, do whatever you think needs to be done.
Ring that bell.
Yes, please. And make sure to check out some other videos we'll have at the ending of the credits. With that out of the way, I'm Howard.
I'm David.
You have a good night, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.